Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Frostbyte. Thank you so much for being here tonight. A lot of you have heard about the Silver Eagle Privy that just came out. Now, the Laser Privy is something new in 2025. And why the laser? What is the significance of the laser? We'll talk about that a little bit. I also want to talk about privy marks, some of the good things about it, some of the bad things about it. I want to dispel a myth about the 100,000 being a low mintage. I'll talk to you guys about what really low mintages are and give you some good examples. And then I'm going to wrap up talking a little bit about some of the security features that we saw in another privy coin, which was the Army 250th. So stay tuned. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Silver Eagle Privy. Now, as you can see here, what you're looking at is the 2025 laser engraved Laser Privy. Now, why do I say laser engraved Laser Privy? It's because what they're commemorating is the new die technology that they're utilizing in order to create the dies. That die technology no longer utilizes the hub technology. It actually allows for a laser to actually bypass the hubbing process and actually go straight to the making of the die. So what does this mean? It means a couple different things. Number one, it means that there's no hub process. And with no hub process, there's a lower likelihood for things like doubled dies. It looks like it's probably going to be a thing of the past. Why? Because the technology is so clear. It's going to be utilizing computer-based technology to actually relate to the laser what it should be engraving. There's going to be computer-based information telling the depth and what it should have. And again, you're going to have pretty standard items. Now, you may still see things with planchet flaws. You might see strike errors, issues where they're off center, or maybe you have some issues with the thickness of the strike or die cracks or die chips and things like that. Those things may still happen. But again, for the most part, you're talking about a bullion coin or you're talking about proofs. Now, proof go under a totally different process. And so you're going to be seeing things a little bit differently. So why is this significant? Because this is going to mark the beginning of a new era, the era of privies. Now, I don't think this is the last one. I think we're going to be seeing these a couple times a year, maybe multiple times a year. But the one thing that really stands out in this one is the 100,000 mintage. People saying that it's going to be rare. It's not rare, folks. It's not even scarce. We're talking about 100,000. A great example of a laser engraved die where the mintages are low was the silver medal and the gold coin. Now, the silver medal privy, 1,794 of them, that's a low mintage. With a gold privy on the gold coin is only 230. Now, of course, those went to the auction house and sold for massive amounts of money. Now, those are limited mintages. Those are small mintages. Those are things that there's very few of them, mintages under 2,000 on the silver medal piece and 230 for the gold piece. Now, that low number is going to be what helps make it collectible. Now, it's a collectible piece, but supply and demand. If there's a lot of them and people want them and they're willing to trade them, then the price is going to stay steady. But as we've seen with the flowing hair, even after a couple of months, that price point started to come down, where it started out at $65,000 or $7,000. Now we're seeing it settle around $3,800 to $4,800. Massive decrease in price. Actually, it's about a third of a reduction in the total price, and that's been within a year. So again, it's very important to understand the collectability nature of these things. And do I think they're going to be something that's huge and outlandish? No. I think that first, there's going to be a big buy. There's going to be an initial run on the secondary market. Again, this is a proof coin, so the way that they mint these are a little bit different. So I'm not expecting a lot from this. I think we'll see some prices pretty high at the beginning. And then as this goes on, I think we're just going to kind of see it gradually decline. Why? The mint has a history of this. And if you look at histories of various items that were supposed to have been big through the US Mint, they fall off. So what is it about the laser? What's so important about the laser? The laser created in 1960, and it stands for light amplification by stimulated emissions of radiation. They're red, green, blue, whatever, but they're one solid, very focused area of light. Now, what's cool about this is the power from a laser has the ability to zap things like tumors in the brain. It has to do things. If you're a guy and you've ever heard about prostate cancer, radical robot prostatectomies are something where they utilize lasers and they go in and they cut out the tissue in the prostate. And now we're utilizing them to engrave dies at the US Mint. So they wanted to honor that. I also want to remind you that when there is technology that has something cool, the opportunity for people to misuse this, it's going to be pretty high. So I think even within 2025, we're going to start to see some remanufactured items from people who are trying to utilize these to deceive. And I guarantee you that we start to see copies and counterfeits and forgeries in 2026. Mark my words, it's going to happen. I said that it was going to happen with the flowing hair privy. And again, here we are 2025, and we've already seen that particular one come up. So again, it's important that we pay attention to this. But this laser beam technology, again, it's all a nod to how they're utilizing the dies. It's not sharks with freaking laser beams, which I think would have been a more apt item to do, something that would have actually engaged with pop culture, and you'd have had a lot more people seeking that because of the Austin Powers reference. Now, there are 2 additional coins coming out this year that are going to be the privy as well, and you got the 250th anniversary, that semi-quincentennial. Those are going to be coming out later on as well. But what I want to do right now is I want to go over an infographic with you. And this is something that is actually really cool. It's something that I hadn't seen before. Now, it's important when we do this because some of these things are going to help you define whether something's counterfeit or not. Looking at the Adolf Weinman, that WA initials there, a lot of people think it's just a W or that's the mint mark. That's actually Adolf Weinman's signature. If you look at the reverse side, you're going to see the artist, the designer, Emily Domstra. You're going to see her initials there. That's what that ESD stands for. Again, look at the details in that because when you look at counterfeits, these initials change. They become bigger, they become thicker, the font changes. I'm sure there's going to be something comes out about the detail and the feathers looking at a certain area, potentially for tool marks. And then another important thing, which is really important, is the read. Now, I want you to see it says reeded edge variation. Now, it says variation because if you look at the read, you're going to see something slightly different here. You're going to see that it's not just your standard square read. It actually has something else to it. So this is going to most likely be another security feature. The pattern on that is unknown. Only the people who know the security actually know the patterns to this, if there is a pattern. And again, these are things to watch out for. When you're looking at this, remember that it is a proof coin, and that's really important. It is going to be that 99.9% silver. You're looking at 1 troy ounce of silver. But again, that diameter is going to be about 1.59 on the inches or 40.6 millimeters. If you want to have more discussion regarding the American Silver Eagle, about how to identify or authenticate some of these things, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and down below in the chat, write down that you would like to learn more information about, and then document what it is. I'll peruse the comments, identify some of the ones that are the most common, and then I'll create a video accordingly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Frostbyte, bringing you your Laser Privy and what I think about it. Will I be buying one? No. This is a hard pass for me. Beware the hype. That's the thing that's important. All right, folks, be well, be blessed, and I will see you in the streams. Take care.